A few days back, I saw Transformers Rise of the Beast, so here are my thoughts on it. Hi, my name is Nathan and I talk about a bunch of movies on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share what you thought of Transformers Rise of the Beast over on my channel. I have more content like this, check those out right now, or check those out when this video is over. Click that like button, be sure to subscribe, it really does help a lot. And with that said, let's just get straight into starting with the review. And when it comes to this movie, it's an okay addition to the Transformers franchise. If you don't know, I grew up watching the Transformers movies, these live action movies, back when I was like 7, 8 years old. I binged through all the Michael Bay movies. I saw The Last Night in the theater. I saw Bumblebee in the theater. And I'm a bit biased to this franchise because I grew up watching the franchise. And this one is just an okay addition to the franchise. Wow. Half of the franchise, it's better than this half of the franchise that's absolutely garbage, but it's also not as good as some of these other movies in the franchise, so it's just okay. It tries balancing out the action side of the Michael Bay movies while also having trying to have a more character-based story like Bumblebee, and I don't think it does one of those two things at a 10 out of 10 level, but it does both of those things good. You still get some great action sequences, and a little bit of character-based, nice little moments snuck into this film. And on a plot level, there's a clearer, more adventure plot line, Indiana Jones type plot, where they're trying to grab an artifact for the Transformers. And I think that's a fun enough plot to do in a Transformers movie. There are some fun new characters that actually have arcs, like Optimus Prime. He actually has an arc throughout this movie. Our lead human character, also has an arc. Not as interesting of an arc, but he also does. And there are just some nice little new characters, like in particular, you have Mirage, one of the Autobots, one of the new Autobots. That I thought he was a nice little addition to this franchise. However, by any means, I'm not saying that this is a good movie, because I do have a lot of issues with what they do in this film, and I don't know, part of that is that it didn't do one of those things correctly. Something I mentioned earlier in this video, they didn't do the Michael Bay action, like, they had good action, but not great action like Michael Bay, and they had good character moments, but not great character moments like Bumblebee. And so, I don't know, something about it tries to do that balance, and something about it, I don't know, but it just didn't reach its full potential. It's just middle of the road Transformers. It doesn't feel as big as the other Michael Bay films. When you have the Chicago battle at the end of Dark of the Moon, when you have, there's even these garbage movies, when you have like The Last Night, where you have this other world, literally another planet or something like that, and they're fighting on another planet that's literally like this close to Earth, and you have them fighting like that. Like, that's more interesting than what they have in the fights here. And our human characters, although this movie is trying to be a bit more character-based, I didn't find the human characters all that interesting. And when you're watching somebody's job life, having trouble and stuff like that, like, when you're watching somebody do that for most of the runtime, I just don't know that it entirely works. And so, the human characters weren't actually all that interesting to me. And when they're supposed to be, throughout this movie, there's going to be some shocking emotional scenes, or at least it's trying to be a shocking and emotional scene. And it kind of makes me laugh, like, because it tries to have this big sweeping moment where, like, I don't want to go into spoilers, but where something happens to a character, but then I've seen the other films, and so I know how the character is going to end up, because this movie's a prequel to the Michael Bay Transformers movies. And so, there's some emotional, shocking scenes that are just sort of laughable, and the way the movie is structured, it kind of feels like a video game. where you have this level where you do something and then you go all the way to Peru, and there's this other level where you have another action sequence, and then you have our big showdown where all of a sudden you're a person battling people, and it just kind of feels like it's structured like a video game more so than an actual movie. And finally, there's sort of a bonkers cliffhanger setup at the very end. There's like a twist, a cliffhanger setup that it just had my theater laughing. Like that is I do not think this is a good twist to give at the end of the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, but to me it just did not work as a twist. It had my theater laughing out loud at the very end. And so in general, this movie it tries to be what the Michael Bay movies did so well, which is the big spectacle, but also tries to be more of like a character-based story like Bumblebee. It doesn't do either one of those fully properly, but I think it did them good enough. But I just have a lot of issues with this movie that hold it back. There's no shortage of entertainment value put into this film, but there were better versions of this movie that I'd rather rewatch the better Transformers movies than this one. And so I'll give this one a C+. So this is not really a good movie, but I could rewatch it if I wanted to. It is an entertaining film, and so there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Transformers Rise of the Beast. Down below in the comment section, share what you thought of it over on my channel. I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Click that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you in the next one.